For control system, we have seen.
Output, input,
Yeah.
uh,
One of them is output, one of them is
system.
input. Disturbances, do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then controller, is it? Yes. So in unit number 1, could you see the screen? Is it? Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the contents for the control system, we have these all which are displayed right on your screen. And in the previous lecture, we have already started with the basic elements of control system. Some of them are input, output, controller, disturbances, isn't it? And prior to that, we have seen what is actually the meaning of control system. So, just in one word, can you define control system? Control means what? System means what? Do you remember? We have seen these two terminologies. Yes? Okay. So, these are the textbooks. Okay. We have discussed. You can refer these textbooks. Okay. Reference books. These are the reference books. Out of these, you can, for the numericals, you can refer this Smarajit Ghosh, Pearson publication, Theory and Application of Control System. These are the mock and NPTEL courses links. Okay, you can go through that. Yeah. Prior to this, tell me what is the meaning of control and what is the meaning of system. Do you remember control means to give command, to direct, or in other words, regulation. Do you
To
remember?
regulate, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, to regulate, isn't it? So control means, as I said, it is regulation or you can say to direct. And control system is nothing but it is simply the interconnection of various types of components or you can say various types of elements, isn't it? Or in other words, it is simply an arrangement or you can say it is a combination of different types of components which are connected in a systematic manner so as to regulate or so as to direct itself, okay, in a systematic format. Yes, and why the systematic arrangement of the various types of component is important? Just so as to necessitate the output is controlled by varying the input. Yes, and if you see the first control system device, it was being first invented by James Flyball Governor, which was being invented in 1767. And the main aim behind this invention was to keep the speed of the engine constant just by regulating the supply of the steam to the engine. Means what? A engine is a basic example of a control system where the input was varied and it was being controlled and regulated such that the output was being initiated. Okay, so this is a simple example of a control system prior to all the control systems which were being next invented. Okay, so this was the first control system was James Flyball Governor. Okay, yes. Next, next we have a simple block diagram for a control system. We have discussed about this. That is, some or the other part we are giving the input, yes, and by varying the input signal, we can initiate, we can have the necessary output. Okay, and we can mathematically as well as practically we can analyze the control system. Analysis of control system by means of which we are studying the stability behavior of the system and by means of the stability we can initiate, we can determine whether the control is stable or unstable. Yes, we can also determine the behavior of a system. The behavior of the system of any control system can be initiated by means of its differential equation, mathematical expression, difference equation, or you can say block diagram and many more techniques. Okay, so in first unit we are going to focus and concentrate on two types of techniques. One is known as block diagram reduction technique, and one is SFG, that is signal flow graphs. Okay, so prior to these two techniques we will study the basics. Okay, now what are the basics here? First we have seen about, now this we have already covered, what do you mean by system, and isn't it, what are the controller, that is which comes under basic elements. Which are the basic elements? As I said, one is input. Input is nothing but it is the signal, isn't it? The signal which we are giving at the input side of a system, isn't it? Or in other words, you can say the applied signal or the excitation signal which is applied to a control system so as to obtain a specified or you can say desired output is known as input. Okay. Then we have seen output. What is the output? Output is nothing but it is the actual response which is taking place by means of applying an input signal, and it is the, you can say the output or you can say the outcome from the control system. Yes, so that is the output. Okay, due to the application of input signal, the actual response which is being expected or the desired outcome in a control system is known as output. Then the third basic element we have seen is disturbance. What are disturbances? Disturbances are nothing but they are the signals which can cause adverse effect, or you can say the output value is being adversely affected by means of the input signal given to a system. These disturbances can be internal, these disturbances can be external. Rather, most of them, the internal disturbances which are there, they arise in the system itself. Rather, the external disturbances they are generated outside the system. Okay. Then the other important element, that is controller. So what is a controller? Controller is nothing but it is that element which is having the function that is controlling the plant or controlling the process. Yes, so every system they accepts the input and defines the output after analyzing the nature of input. Yes, so the controller is that mechanism which reduces the difference between actual value and desired value of the system. Yes, so the controller is that element which controls the plant or which controls the process in simple language. Okay, so the basic elements, which are the basic elements? One is controller, one is input, one is output, and